Cool. So welcome to our very first Tech Sisters Hackathon presentation and demo night. This is the first time we're doing it. We are all super excited. Alhamdulillah. So who are Tech Sisters? What are we doing? So Tech Sisters is a community that connects Muslim women in tech. The whole idea behind it is the women in our community have compounding layers of being the only person like them at work. So for a lot of us, we are the only woman in our team or even in the whole company. But on top of that, we're also usually the only woman. And we're also the only person who dresses a certain way, and usually also the only woman, the only person not going out for drinks, etc., etc., etc. And all these layers of feeling alone builds up upon it, and we can have like this sense of isolation, and it's really this uncomfortable kind of feeling. A lot of us have that experience that in varying degrees in our career, and the whole point of Tech Sisters is to say, we see you, you're not alone. We have a whole community of women who are in a very similar position to you, who have the same values, who are coming from kind of very similar backgrounds and want to get to a very similar place. And we're going to support you with that. We have sisters in our community who have achieved career success, who have reached a level of VP or director, or started their own companies without having to sacrifice their identity or their values. And so we do lots of mentoring programs. We have a bi-weekly career clinic where you drop in and you get CV support. And we have this hackathon. So why do we do this? We saw in our community that a lot of our Tech Sister members were struggling with the job market as it is now, really having a hard time with getting experience on their portfolios or proving that they have experience when they're going on job interviews. So we wanted to have a way where they could boost their portfolio. A huge part of being a Tech Sister is wanting to collaborate with other Muslim women. It's really exciting when you can meet another Muslim woman and talk about, coding with each other, because that's something that you don't really get to share that often. And so taking that to the next level and then building something together is really cool, a very special experience. We also wanted to provide a hackathon where there's a very flexible schedule. So we stretched this out over the course of the whole month of November, and we did this completely asynchronously remote, to really make it easy and accessible for participants to engage and really feel like they can contribute to this project without burning themselves out. And of course, we're here to make a difference. This is all part of being part of the dean, doing some sadaqah. So this is, why this is really cool that we had this hackathon together. My name is Grace. So I'm the founder of Tech Sisters. I started it in 2019. I am also one of the mentors for the teams. Mashallah, Sadia, who's also on the call, is one of the co-organizers for this and has just been a massive, mashallah. I wanted to introduce our judges for tonight. So as the teams are presenting, our judges are going to be scoring their presentations over the course of tomorrow and a little bit of Friday. They're also going to be doing code reviews, just looking at what the teams have built. And on Friday, we'll have our winners announced for a cash prize for the winning team, inshallah. So first, we have Marwa Dawi, who is on our Tech Sisters Advisory Board. She is head of delivery, but that's not all. She's also a co-founder and an entrepreneur, and she's one of those people who just like bring gold to everything they touch, mashallah. So very excited that she's here. We have Hawa Budra, who is also on our Tech Sisters Advisory Board, and she's the co-founder of Anaria Technologies. We have Mariam Abed, who's a product manager at EY. And we have Dina Tucklet, who is a full stack developer and is super active in our career clinics. So if anybody wants any advice, she's perfect for that, mashallah. We have Medina Tachi, who as well has been a very super active member in Tech Sisters, software engineer, and Emery Nas, who again, mashallah, like this whole crowd of judges is super engaged and committed to this community. In terms of the projects that we have, so we're going to start with Lunar Flow, then the Together app, Zakat Calculator, Tazkir, Ikra AI, and Halal Reads and Reels. But before we get into all of that in the presentations, we have a super special talk from Ibrahim Javed, who we all know as the co-founder of Dean Developers and hackathon expert extraordinaire. And Ibrahim, if you're ready, I'll throw it over to you.
Perfect, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. I don't think my slides are just as nice as yours. But inshallah, I'll try to get through this as quick as possible and we can get onto the main things, which is the hackathon projects. So firstly, I want to thank Grace and Tech Sisters for inviting me to speak. It's honestly a huge honor. I love the vision, I love the mission of Tech Sisters, and I think there's definitely a real necessity for this within the community to give you guys that safe space. So congrats on Grace and the team for putting this together, and Jazakallah khair for inviting me down. So just a little bit about myself before jumping in. My name is Ibrahim Javed. I'm a senior product manager at BCGX by day. I've worked in the tech industry for a number of years now, both as a product manager, but also as a software engineer. But more importantly, I am the co-founder of Dean Developers. And what we do at Dean Developers is that we're a community that empowers techies and creatives to build solutions to societal problems. We care deeply about the Ummah's problems. And what we want to do is we want to leverage the talent from within the Muslim community and the non-Muslim community to bring people together and build those solutions to problems that exist in society. Recently, we built a bunch of products for Palestine and for Gaza, which have been a huge success. So if anyone wants to speak about that, do reach out to me, inshallah. But I've been thinking about this question quite a bit. What do I want to speak about during the next 15 minutes? And this is something that's been on my mind for the last couple of days and weeks as well. Do I just want to give generic hackathon advice that you can find online about building successful products? Or do I want to kind of speak about some of my personal experiences, some of the life lessons I've learned, and then relate them back to building successful products to make the lessons a little bit more tangible and a little bit more relatable as well. And I decided to do the latter. So I'm going to speak very briefly about my trip that I did recently. I recently road tripped through Thailand and Vietnam. But more importantly, and more specifically, I road trip through the northern part of Vietnam, which is absolutely stunning. It's probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in my life. And we specifically did this loop called the Ha Giang Loop, which is considered as the jewel and the gem of Southeast Asia, because of that beauty of nature and how green and how beautiful it is. And honestly, in my life, I've done a lot of things, but this is probably the top 3 things I've ever done in my life. And it's a 4-day loop where you're basically on mopeds or motorbikes and you're going around the mountains, taking the nature, soaking in and stopping off at each of these places. And like I said, absolutely amazing. But for someone like myself, who's slightly reckless, who doesn't own a motorbike license, who's never driven in Vietnam, it's actually a pretty dangerous thing to do as well. So I very unfortunately, not listening to the guide's advice, I was going about 60 miles per hour on a dirt road and I didn't see a ditch and I hit a ditch and I basically flew off my bike and I skidded about 200 meters across. As you can see, my face has healed up now, but I've got a bunch of scars all over my arms and all over my body and whatnot. So, and quite frankly, it was a near-death experience. And after my near-death experience, I took some time out at the top of this place in particular to really soak it in and take in some of the life lessons that I learned. And there's a bunch of life lessons I learned. Maybe I'll write an article about this and I can share it later. But the lessons I want to speak about specifically are the ones that are relatable to building successful products. And I know it sounds weird, near-death experience of almost falling off the cliff of a mountain on a motorbike. And what does that have to do with building products, right? But bear with me, inshallah, bear with me. So that's what I'm going to speak about. I'm going to be speaking about the life lessons I've learned through this experience of mopeding through the mountains and injuring myself quite severely to hackathons and how to build successful products. The first thing is that for a lot of us, we've heard the phrase that if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. And if you want to go further, you go together. Now, myself, I decided to do the first thing, obviously. I just decided to overtake the guide, go a lot faster, and end up crashing, right? Whereas what I should have done is I should have stayed behind the guide, really taken on his advice, taken on his learnings and his experience, and kind of gone together and gone further without getting injured. For a lot of the times and a lot of the hackathons that I've run and a lot of the hackathons I've participated in, during the month of building and during the weekend of building, everyone's together, everyone works hard together, they work really well together to actually launch and build their product. But when the hackathon finishes and the pitch night is done, what often happens is that most of the team drops off. There's different responsibilities people have, family responsibilities, work responsibilities, And what happens is that the burden of the product is left on one person's shoulder. And that one person's shoulder, it can get quite difficult. They can go fast, they can go quick, they can do all of those things, but they never end up getting further because of that burden and because they kind of just burn out. So the lesson in this case is that inshallah, after this pitch night, when it's finished and you realize how successful your products are, inshallah, and how good they are and how the judges score them, stick to your projects, work together as a team, work together, go and go further together. Don't allow for the teams to kind of split up and kind of one person to just take on the burden. The second thing is to keep your ego in check. This is a lesson I learned. Obviously, I should have kept my ego in check. I should have stuck behind the guide and really listened to what he said when he told me, listen, you don't understand the roads, drive slowly, right? And this advice for hackathons and building products is in two parts. The first part in keeping your ego in check is that you guys for the past month, you've dedicated your blood, sweat, tears. I'm sure there's been plenty of times where you guys have realized that, you know what, this is maybe too much to do, but you ended up putting in the effort and you're here for a reason because you put in that effort and you've built something that you're proud of, right? When you go to launch your product and it goes into the face of users, oftentimes what I've seen is that when when they spend a long time working on a product, they end up getting this emotional attachment to that product. Maybe ego is the wrong word to use in this case. Ego was right in my case, but sometimes, and I've been guilty of this as well, about building an emotional connection to the product. So when you launch the product to users and you're receiving that user feedback, you're checking the data analytics, and you're seeing that users aren't responding to the products in the way that we thought they'd be responding to. It's important to not just stick to your idea and say, you know what, we've spent a month on this. We're going to carry on forcing this down people's throats and pushing them and pushing this product out to them. Instead, what should be happening is you should keep your ego in check, keep the emotional connection away from the product, take in the user feedback, look at the analytics, and pivot and change your product depending on how users are interacting with those products. The second thing is what I mean by keeping your ego in check is that for many of the products, from what I've seen, just from what Grace introduced and from the invite, that a lot of the products that are built are tech for good. There's a reason why you built it. There's a personal connection that you have to these problems, right? But oftentimes when building tech for good products, it's easy for intentions to switch it's easy for intentions to shift. It's easy to basically think, you know what, this is a product that I'm building just for myself. I'm building this because this is something that I'm proud of. But it's also important to remember that actions are judged by intentions. So inshallah, now that you guys have embarked on the journey of building tech for good products, just remember, inshallah, that you guys are doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to, inshallah, kind of detach the emotional connection from it, if that makes sense. The third thing is don't stop just because the first time didn't go so well. Now, I remember my first hackathon that I took part in. And alhamdulillah, it was a pretty good hackathon, but the product itself was not something I was proud of. The team I worked with, it was the first time I'd worked with them. It was the first time me being a software engineer worked at a hackathon. I wasn't necessarily proud of what I actually put out there to the public. And that kind of stopped me from going back to hackathons. It stopped me for a while from actually saying, okay, you know what, maybe the next hackathon will be better and we'll launch something that I'm actually proud of. Similarly, in a lot of the hackathons that we've run at Dean Developers, there's been times when I've invited particular individuals to come to the next hackathon or to build another tech for good product. And what they've said is that, you know what, I'm not too sure. It's been a bit difficult. It was a bit tough for me to find the right time in order to do this. Maybe we didn't, I clashed a little bit with some of my colleagues and this kind of stuff. I don't want to do it the next time. But this isn't the mindset to have, inshallah. The mindset to have is that this first time that you actually did this, you take these learnings and you be better for the next time that you do this, inshallah. And to relate this back to my kind of near-death experience, after hitting the ditch on the moped at 50, 60 miles per hour, I could have very easily just said, you know what, it's been a big mistake. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm not going to jump back on the moped. And then I probably would have never, ever, ever ridden a moped ever again. But instead, what I decided to do was, with the guidance of a doctor, and the guide as well, I jumped back on the moped and I carried on the journey on the following day. So the lesson here is that even if the first time doesn't go so well, your first hackathon experience isn't the best that it is, don't allow for that to stop you from jumping onto the next hackathon or building another tech for good product. Now, onto some practical advice. about actually launching products and how to leverage your experiences and whatnot. The first thing is to build in public. Now, I know this advice is probably a little bit too late because you guys have built your products, but inshallah, the best way to actually launch your product and to get people to use your product is by talking about it in public, getting the excitement, really defining the problem statement, really defining the solution as well, and keeping people up to date. What you find is that when you're building tech for good products, is that people naturally want to help you. People naturally want to support your product. So the best thing to do is that on your different social media platforms that you have, or even on Slack, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, whatever you use, build in public. And I know this is quite a daunting task because it might be the first time you're launching a product to the public, but this is how you get instant user feedback. This is how you get better analytics, and this is how you really understand the audience that you're building for as well. So a big kind of advice for this is to actually build in public. After this pitch night, if you guys do want to launch your product, do speak about it on social media and push it forward, inshallah. The second thing is something that Grace actually mentioned, which is leverage this experience for your portfolio. For hackathons that we've done, and even myself as well, should I really be coming in as a senior product manager at BCGX? Not necessarily. Do I have the experience for that? Not necessarily. But it's because of the products that I built outside of work, the products that I launched outside of work. This is what is valuable to employers. Because if you take a person with 1 year corporate experience and somebody who's also got 1 year's worth of corporate experience, but they built something outside of work, they built something, they found a problem that exists, they built it together as a team, they launched it, they scaled it, and they took that feedback and they iterated upon it. This second person is a lot more employable because they're a lot more entrepreneurial. And to kind of give you an example of this was, there was a non-Muslim person that attended our hackathon last year. His name's Theo. And he was stacking boxes at Amazon. He done a design boot camp a year previously to the hackathon, and he just couldn't land a job. He came to one of our hackathons. He built a product that wasn't necessarily successful, but he built a product with product managers, with engineers, and he launched it to the public. And he wrote about it. And only after 1 month of the hackathon, he landed his next job. And alhamdulillah, he wrote a really good article about how that experience allowed for him to get the experience to land his job. So leverage the experience that you have for your portfolio, and inshallah, it's good experience. And this is my final point, inshallah, that this is just the beginning. Hopefully, inshallah, from this hackathon, what you realize is that all of you guys here in this Zoom call here today are talented. You have the skills, you have the ability, you have the necessary means and the mentorship and the guidance from Tech Sisters to actually build something and launch something. But this is the beginning of your journey for making that connection between your skills and ibadah. The fact that you guys can come together, you can use your skills, you can donate your skills to solving real world problems. It's something that I don't think many people get to experience. And when you experience it, this is something you should hold on to. The fact that, and I will quote this hadith that Rasulullah said that whoever of you sees wrong being committed, let him change it with his hand. If he's unable to do that, then with his tongue. And if he is unable to do that, then with his heart. Now, in this case, we see many atrocities, we see many problems in the world, right? And we see many wrongs being committed, for example, in Gaza and all of these places as well. And don't get me wrong, tech isn't going to solve oppression, but there is something that you can do about this. And you being, you working together as teams, working together as a community, coming together to actually change things with your hands and solve these problems is very commendable, inshallah. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards you guys for the good and for the products that you built at this hackathon. And I will leave you with this final quote from one of my friends whose name is Muhammad, but we call him Yemen because he's from Yemen. And it is, find your niche within the ummah, protect and grow it. For all of you in this room here today, I'm a firm believer that every individual, Muslim or non-Muslim, has something to give back to society. And there's a niche that each and every one of us has where we can impact society at large. For us in this room here today, in this Zoom call, our niche is technology. So I'll ask you all to, inshallah, not let this hackathon be the only thing, but instead you protect this niche and you grow it. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much for listening to me waffle for the last 15 minutes, I hope, or 17 minutes. And Jazakallah khair.
Oh, mashallah, it was amazing. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. It's incredible insights from your near death. Happy that, we got a good talk out of it and not something worse, mashallah. But Jazakallah so much for doing that and sharing all those insights. Mashallah. So the very first team, Lunar Flow, Umi and Halima, are you two ready?
No?
No,
Yes.
no, you're ready anyway. Go for it.
I will share my screen.
Assalamu alaikum. So I will start. When we decided to do this project, we asked ourselves what can help us be better Muslims. So when we thought about it, we knew that during our periods, it's the time where our faith is low. So we decided to do an application which will help us to be better Muslim women during our periods. Yeah. So Lunar Flow is an application that helps women track their periods and feel better during them. The user receives religious and positive reminders through notification, which helps her feel better when she has her periods. So the question was, what if we could be at the top of our faith even during our period, even during our premenstrual pain? Like, yeah. So what's new about this application? Because there are a lot of applications which help us track our periods. This application is an application for Muslim women, and the notification will, our aim is to target Muslim women. Our faith and our periods are intimately linked. So especially when we suffer from premenstrual symptoms or menstrual symptoms, it can be physical pain, but it also can be depression phases when we have them. We thought of an application which will give you reminders about your deen and your health. And when I say your deen, it's like quotes from the Quran and the Sunnah, or Islamic quotes in general. Yeah. So Lunar Flow is an application that helps us accept and overcome our emotions. In this application, you can add emotion. For example, if you feel sad, there will be a reminder about sadness linked to Islam, etc. You can have notification adapt to the menstrual period, but also the premenstrual period and the ovulation period, because as we know, there are a lot of women who have premenstrual symptoms. So you can have a reminder even when you don't have your period, but you will have them. So you can prepare the week where you will have your period to be more calm and more thoughtful in your faith. This application can make a profit through partnerships with Muslim companies, but especially and also health companies, because as I said, there are a lot of women who have physical pain. So we will help you to have I don't know, there are a lot of tea, that natural tea or natural things that you can eat or you can drink that will help you. So it's the money side that we thought of. So let's get technical. We decided to use React Native because Halima and me, I'm sorry, I didn't present myself. I am Umi, and there is Halima, and we are two developers. We are specialized in JavaScript, as we say in English, and the fact React Native is a way to build application, but not only in iOS or Android, but both. So we thought that it was interesting to learn a new language and to target the two team, like the team iPhone and the team Android. And we used Node.js and MongoDB. So all our database is in MongoDB. We linked some quotes to some phases and some quotes to some emotions, so we can see in our database the phase ID in some quotes and the emotion ID in others. So yeah, and you use also MVC as you can see in our GitHub if you want to. So we shared, our roles. As you can see, we did a lot of things together. Like we did not want someone to do the front and someone to do the back. So we did both. We switched. For a week, there was Halima who did the front, and for a week, I did the front. So we shared everything, and it was very interesting to build all of this. So here is the demonstration by Halima.
Hi everyone. I'm sorry, I will make it quick because it's already 29. So this is the first screen when you upload the application. You're on the welcoming screen with a brief explanation of the app's purpose and features. Sorry, it's in French. We forgot to translate in English. Then you have the registration screen where you can register with your email and password. We try to hash the password with bcrypt in the back and have a token with a JWT. And then you can add your date of birth. Then you can have a personalized experience. Then, but in the future for our application. So this is the dashboard screen. Once we registered, users enter their personalized dashboard. At the top, we have an icon for notifications. Then we have the current month when you can access the calendar. Underneath, you have the section where the user can access valuable information and advice about different menstrual phases. Below that, we implement features to add emotions. Yes, emotions or moods. And then underneath, you have the last reminder that you liked. If you allow our applications to give you notifications, you can find them in your dashboard and in the link below, just in the bottom bar. So with the first button, you have access to the list of quotes. Then you have access to the mood screen or mood feature. Just here, you can select and add the entry, and it's connected to the calendar. We tried to respect our MVP, but it was hard due to the lack of time. Then the calendar, you can see we let React Native calendar picker, but because we didn't have time to delete all of that. And then you have the profile, but we didn't finish the UI. So we let it for that. In conclusion, our app is not just about tracking cycles, it's about holistic well-being, spirituality, and community. Although we are still working on some exciting features for different age group or other stuff. And we wanted to thank you because it was an amazing journey for us and an enriching experience personally and professionally. And I'm very motivated for the future of my career. And thank you for everyone to listen to us.
Mashallah, mashallah. That was wonderful. I feel like my mood tracker would always be really depressed and angry if I was doing it. But you guys did an amazing job, did a lot of work, mashallah. Next we have, I guess I want to just pause to see if there are quickly any questions from the judges, since we do have some time for a quick judge Q&A while we have everybody here. Okay, sounds good. The next one, mashallah, you guys did a really good job. The next app is the Together app with Fabiha, Rabia, Zain, and Khadija. Are you guys ready?
Yep, we're ready. Assalamu everyone. I'm just gonna share my screen because one of our members wasn't able to join us because it's very late where she is right now. So I'll just get that sorted. We're sharing the wrong thing. Yes, I am. 1 second. Can you see the?
Yep, they can see it.
Okay, cool. Oh.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Rabia and I will be representing Team 1. We are the creators of the Together app. Imagine you've just moved 1,000 miles away from home. The initial excitement of the move is wearing off and you find yourself homesick with an overwhelming sense of isolation. You want to connect with like-minded individuals. You search online for events, but you cannot find anything that matches your value and beliefs as a Muslim. So what do you do to beat this isolation? What do you do to find like-minded individuals? That's where the Together app comes in. It brings people together. The app helps Muslim women find events in Muslim communities and help them connect with like-minded sisters, whether they're halakas or hikes, book clubs, or child-friendly events. There's something for everybody. This app is created for women by women. As Muslim women, we understand the unique insights and values and challenges of Muslims. And as immigrants, we understand the isolation that comes with being away from your family and home. We found that a lot of the information regarding events is found on WhatsApp groups and email lists, which is usually inaccessible to people, but even further inaccessible for newcomers. We carried out a survey of our friends and family, asking them which of the apps they would be most likely to use, and a large majority of them chose the Events app. We believe that there is a big potential market for this app, considering that immigration and migration is on the rise. There is currently no app that is focusing on building connections of Muslims who are away from home. We also know that community plays an essential part in Islam, and we feel that this app can play a big part in battling loneliness as well. It gives us an opportunity also to centralize the scattered events that are on WhatsApp groups, email lists, and websites. It comes time to building this amazing app. With a super amazing team and phenomenal women, Fabiha, Khatija, and Zain, they put their hearts and souls into building this app. I'm going to turn it over to Khatija to talk more about the experiences we had during this hackathon.
The lessons and experience we had on building a app. One, we have having an amazing experience of collaborating with team members, a great processing of acquiring more skills, the process of creating the web app that's aligned to the community need, and working remotely with time zone difference up to 8 hours. Thank you.
We decided to use MongoDB Atlas and Next.js to develop our app. MongoDB is a NoSQL database which allowed us to easily send and receive data in the JSON format without the need for any additional transformations. It also meant we didn't need to predefine the schema, and we could easily add or remove any fields depending on the project requirements. It was quite quick to set up using their website and fairly simple to integrate with Next.js. We built our app on the Next.js framework as it's built on the React framework with some additional features to improve app development and user experience. For example, it provides seamless client-side navigation with file-based routing, so any files created in the Pages folder were mapped to a route and we could easily link to them in our code. The pages also load quite fast with their server-side rendering, and it was simpler to create API endpoints to fetch the data. I'll now hand over to Zain, who will show you the product demo.
Hello, here's a quick demo of this app. On the right hand side here you can see the login form, and if you don't already have an account you can click the sign up button to create one. Once you create an account, you will be directed to the events page. There will be a prompt that asks for your location access, and when you click allow, events that are nearby will show up. These are events that are within 5 miles of you. If you would like to see events that are within, let's say, 15 miles, they will show up. And when you scroll down, you could see events that are taking place across different countries. If you would like to know more about an event, you could click on one to get a brief description, the time, as well as the location at which it's taking place. And if you would like to attend one, you could click the attend button to register. You could also use the search bar to search for specific events. Let's say you would like to know if there's a meetup. Here are all the meetups that are taking place across different countries. If you would like to know if there's an iftar, looks like there are no iftars taking place, but you could host one yourself. If you click on this link, it will take you to the Create Events page where you can create an event. Let's say you would like to create an iftar event in the UK and organized by the Tech Sisters, and once you click Submit, the event will be added here. When you scroll down, you could see that the event is listed under the respective location. And if you would like to know more about this app, you could navigate to the help page to find out more. The app is also responsive for all screen sizes. Thank you.
We're super happy with the progress we've made in the hackathon. However, there's always more work to be done. In the future, we want to integrate the Google Maps API into our app to improve user experience. We also want to create user profiles so that users can keep track of their events and follow other users too if they want to. We want to be able to create neighborhood groups so that users can plan and create events together, and we'd also love to encourage and enable user interactions by suggesting nearby users based on their proximity and any shared interests. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and we'd love to welcome any questions.
Whoa, mashallah, that was amazing. Beautifully executed idea. You can see from the comments, this is something that's super, super resonating. Mashallah. Are there any questions from the judges for the Together app? Yeah, Marwa.
Hey, assalamu alaikum everyone. Can I just say congratulations, that's a fantastic app. Really, really resonates with me personally, and I'm sure a lot of us. I have a very quick question around, I believe it's a web app, would you consider creating it into a native app?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the plans as well. We wanted it to initially be an app, but with the amount of time we had for the hackathon, we thought it'd be nice to create a proof of concept first and show that this works. And also because it's responsive as well, you can, I guess, use it on your phone at the moment too. But yeah, the plan would be to convert it to an app at some point.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions from the judges? Okay, alhamdulillah. So the next team, the whole team couldn't be here tonight because of time zones. It's quite late at night where they are. This is a recurring theme in Tech Sisters, is we have a very, very global membership, and time zones are by far the hardest thing that we deal with. So they have sent a recording, and I am going to play it and just have to make sure that I'm sharing the sound. So just bear with me.
Please, before, which team is this one? Team 1, team 3, 4, 5.
This is team 6, so Fiza and Sadaf.
6. Okay.
All right.
And we'll be presenting our project.
Can you hear it?
Zakat Calculator, which is a mobile application. Zakat is mandatory practice in Islam. Every Muslim who are eligible must pay zakat. It is basically involving the annual donation of 2.5% of a person's wealth. Zakat was made mandatory. It was to help the less fortunate and the needy people. Now, manual zakat calculation could lead to inaccuracy, or there could be issues, or there might be people who don't know the threshold necessity, the eligibility after which they are supposed to pay zakat. And that's why we decided to make this application. The problem statement is as follows, that it is zakat calculation is intricate and prone to inaccuracy. And some people might not know a lot about zakat and on what all things it is applicable. For example, it is applicable on gold, silver, camel, sheep if the person owns it, wheat, raisins, etc. So all these things we decided to include in our application. The technology that we used was Flutter, Firebase, and Figma. The features of our app is we had 3 pages included in our application. The first would be the home page, which will give 2 options to the users. The first would be the zakat calculation option, and the other would be the financial education section. The calculator section would have several attributes where they are to enter the values, and then it would calculate the zakat for the user. Whereas the financial education section would include what a zakat is and how is it different from khums, fitra, or sadaqah, and what all things is zakat applicable, and is the person eligible to pay zakat or not. That is, if he has that amount of wealth or those things that he owns, the minimum amount on which after which he is supposed to pay zakat. And if the person is applicable, then how to calculate it. That will also be mentioned in the financial education section. And then, why is zakat important for a Muslim? What is zakat al-fitra? What are terms and conditions of the possessions and the persons paying zakat? This will include the conditions, the minimum wealth owned by that person, and the condition of that person, if that person is baligh, if that person has aql, and all these things. And then we're paying zakat, so who are we supposed to give it to? Should we give it to the needy people directly, or should we give it to the imams that are there in masjids? All these things. Where is it supposed to be disposed? The future scope, we thought that we would add user authentication in the beginning, so that we could also calculate the analysis and analyze all the users and their financial analysis and everything, but then we couldn't add the backend, so we put this in our future scope. And then multiple currency support and notification feature, that so that we would be updating the if we are updating the calculation section or the financial education section, then the user is notified with that feature. This was the prototype of our app. The 3 pages, these are the attributes included, and this would be the options available to all the users. And that was it. Thank you very much.
And their demo. Okay, alhamdulillah. So judges, if you have any questions for Team 6, they've called themselves the Pontiac Bandits, mashallah. But this is Fiza and Sadaf, so we can tag them in Slack and ask them that way, mashallah. The next app is Tazkir. We have Marika, Anisa, Hiba, Rawan, and are you guys ready? Show us what Tazkir is. Awesome.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to our presentation on Tazkir. It is a Quran memorization app specifically designed for the Muslim woman to strengthen her Quran memorization. So what is Tazkir? Tazkir means reminder, and it's a mobile-first web application that focuses on Quran memorization and testing. It provides a solution for the user to test their memorization of the surahs if they don't have anyone to recite to, for example, or if they just generally want to improve. There are many Quran applications out there, but they lack the testing and strength tracking element. So who is the user? The user is the woman or the Muslim woman with childcare and home responsibilities who may find it difficult attending Quran classes and who desires to incorporate the Quran into their daily life. So why have we decided to focus on the Muslim woman? Well, we wanted to personalize the application to the Muslim woman's needs, and we wanted to make plans in the future to create a community around memorization of the Quran, and keeping the community to women will align with the beliefs around haya. So our solution to testing Quran memorization is that they will be able to complete daily tests with a focus on their weaker surahs and get personalized reports and insights of their Quran history, as well as having the opportunity to take initiative and engage in their own self-initialized tests. And these are the core features of our application.
How does our app then track the strength of surahs? So we have a simple traffic light system in place. We have red for weak, orange for medium, and green for strong. When the user signs up, they will select a strength for each surah that they have already memorized. And every time they complete a test, they can update their strength. How do we determine the testing schedule? So we have a system where the weak surahs get practiced most often. The app will prioritize surahs that either don't have any revisions yet, or it will compare timestamps of revisions and choose surahs that haven't been revised recently. And based on these comparisons, it will prompt the test of 2 surahs daily. And then moving on to the app flow. So we have sign up and login. The user will then get to the home page where they see their daily revision surahs and a list of all surahs they have memorized. If they start a test for one of the daily revision surahs, they complete the test, and after that they will update their strength. And these test results will be saved in revision history, and the app will replace the surah in daily revision with the next surah according to schedule, like I explained in the previous slide. And the user can also always complete additional tests for other surahs, and these results will also be saved in revision history, but they will not replace the surah from the daily revision. Then our technical implementation. So we designed our prototype with Figma. Our front end was built with React, Bootstrap, and Redux. Back end was built with Node.js and MongoDB database. The back end gets the surahs from Quran.com Open API. We have also implemented Firebase authentication, and our application has been deployed and it can be tested online. And next we will have a demo of our application. Okay, let's start the demo. We have an authenticated login, which takes us straight in, where we can find today's practice section. Scrolling down, we find the surahs that have been selected during sign-up. They can be filtered by strength. To test Surah Quraysh, we can select it. In the test, I recite an ayah one by one. If I get stuck, I can unhide an ayah. Otherwise, I can move on. The amount of times I need help with an ayah is tracked. Once complete, I re-evaluate my strength. Let's go into my history for Surah Quraysh.
The completed test shows up here, and I can view my progress or test it again. Now in the profile page, I can view my daily streak and my overall Juz Amma strength. Lastly, in the home page, we can see the practice surahs have updated. Anissa will continue.
Whoa, mashallah.
Yeah. So our next steps. So we plan on refining the app through handling edge cases and errors. These are mainly like visual errors for the user. Don't worry, we've handled our own logic errors. There's nothing there. We also want to expand to the full Quran. So you might have noticed we focus on Juz Amma right now. We want people to be able to test the knowledge of the full Quran. Also, we want to transition to a mobile app. You might have noticed we kind of focused on the mobile view of the app, and with our tech stack, it's quite easy to build it as a mobile app. And the community feature is something we want to also focus on, so that we can have a global community where Muslim women around the world are connected to the Quran through our app. And some closing words to wrap up. It's been a fantastic experience working with the team. It's been amazing to see how everyone has come together, collaborated and learned from each other. And we'd also like to thank our team mentor, Khadija, for her lovely insights. And thank you from Team Tazkir. And if you want to try the app, it's posted and you can have a lot of fun with it if you want. Thank you.
Mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. That is amazing. Such a beautiful app, and it's so impressive how far you're able to get with it. Alhamdulillah, something that's definitely going to be super useful. Alhamdulillah. Any questions from the judges? No? Okay. Mashallah. Moving on to the next presentation, and alhamdulillah, we're going really swimmingly on schedule as well. So we have Ikra AI, this is team 4, with Sana, Tahira, Zainab, and Karima.
Are you able to hear us?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
So we're Team Ikra, and we're here today to present to you Ikra AI. So we built this AI chatbot to solve a problem that many users, that many Muslims face nowadays. So Muslims such as Aisha. Now, Aisha is familiar with basic written and spoken Arabic, but as a Muslim, she feels that there's a disconnect between reading the Quran and understanding its meaning. In an ideal world, she would love to be able to understand what she's reading via a convenient and interactive learning tool. Now, there are tools available such as mentorship, books, and apps, but these are quite costly and usually not very interactive. And we have found that the fastest way to learn a language is through conversation. Now, this is where we come in. Ikra AI is an AI chatbot that is designed to converse with the user, i.e. Aisha, allowing the user to learn Quranic Arabic verses, including the tafsir. And as a result of this, it allows users like Aisha to become closer to the Quran and become better Muslims. So I'll just pass across to Zainab, who will take us through the tools that she used to create the app and the demo.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zainab, and I'm going to go through the tech solution that we use for this. We use Python and Django for the backend because our backend developers were most familiar with these. And for the front end, we use JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. For the future iterations, we'll be using React because it has improved readability and reduced size. For the data, we used SQLite because it is embedded in Django, and this makes it perfect for hackathons. As for the last one, OpenAI API, we use this to power the chatbot's conversations, and we use the free trial to get started. Now let's go to the demo. I'm gonna just get started. This is the landing page, and we'll be creating an account. This is the instructions page. Here we can see how Iqra.ai works. We can see that we have 5 lessons in the first word. We will have practice sessions and sentence tests for each of the words in the lesson. And after we're done with lesson 1 of the 5, after we're done with 5 words of the lesson 1, we'll go to lesson 2 and similarly finish all the 4 lessons. And once we're done with all 4 lessons, we will have a verse from the Quran to translate. And when we finish the verse, we will have its tafsir. And this is the whole of level A. And once we're done with level A, we will go to the next level. This is what level A looks like. We have 4 lessons, and this is lesson 1 with its 5 words. So let's get started and go to the chatbot page. This is the chatbot page. Here on the sidebar, you can see information related to the user's level and lesson. We can see the current words. We can also see the profile here, the personal information of the user, the learned words, previously learned words, and current lesson words. We can see the vocabulary, like we can see the progress. And let's just go back to the lesson. So I'm going to start practice session. Here it gives us the 5 words. This introduces it to us, and then we have to create a sentence using the word min in it. This is part of practicing. So I'm just going to say ana min al-Hind. So now I've sent this message with the word min in it. Now the bot is going to respond also with a sentence. Also with a sentence that has the word min in it. As you can see, أنا أتعلم العربية منك, which means I learn Arabic from you. That's really sweet. I'll just say something else in Arabic. I'll say أنا آتٍ من البيت, and it's gonna reply with another sentence that has the word min in it. This helps the user become familiar with the word in different sentences. Now, the practice session goes on like this for 10 messages. So I'm just going to go to a different account where I've set it to sentence test so that we can see how that works. And here it is. We can start the sentence test. Now, the bot is going to give me a sentence test, a sentence to translate. Just wait a few seconds. Yeah. That's my job search council meeting alarm. Here we have the sentence أنا أسكن في بيت جميل من الطوب. Not sure what طوب means, so I can click on the word to see the translation. It says brick. أنا أسكن في بيت جميل من طوب, which means I live in a house, in a beautiful house. In a beautiful house. Made of bricks, basically. It's going to tell me if that's right or wrong. It says that is the right translation, and it's going to give me the next sentence to translate. أنا سأكون في المدرسة غدا. Okay, let's just give a wrong answer and see what happens. Let's say I am going to my house. So it tells me that's not right. Try again, and then it's going to give me the same word but a different sentence to translate. So that's how sentence tests work. Now we can see how verse tests work with another, because we don't want to go through everything. So here we have the verse test. When we click on start verse test, it's going to give us a verse to translate. The verse is ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر. So we're going to just type in the meaning. The night of glory is better than 1,000 months. And when we enter that, it's going to tell us whether our translation is right or wrong. It tells us that it's the right translation. Now we can see the tafsir. So the tafsir, we have the 3 verses for the tafsir because we want to understand it in the context. We have the summarized tafsir here. And if you want to know more about the verses, if you want the detailed tafsir, we can use this link provided to go to the website and see the whole tafsir. And that's it for the demo. We can click on start next level to go to the next level. And as you can see, it's been updated with new words. And I will now hand over to Tahira to explain how the journey of this was.
So moving on to risks and rewards. So as a team, we reflected on how the last month went, and we thought about what went well, alhamdulillah, and what could we do even better next time. So we just want to point out one big takeaway as we are limited in time. So we actually only have backend developers on the team and we had no one on front end. And so we actually familiarized ourselves with the front end and we actually got stronger in it, even though we had a front end developer who had to drop out, unfortunately, but we actually mitigated the risk and we were able to adjust and work through it. And finally, just to wrap up, we want to show you what the future of Iqra AI looks like. So Iqra AI in the future, we're hoping to introduce new features. And one of the features that we want to introduce is text to speech and vice versa, speech to text. So the user can actually talk to the bot and not just text. So that's our presentation. And Jazakumullah khairan for listening and for Tech Sisters for giving us all this opportunity.
Oh my God, mashallah, that was amazing. You can see the reactions in the comments. Everyone's going crazy for it. That is incredible. And I know what your team went through and the fact that I'm speechless, subhanAllah, that is amazing. Judges, any questions? No.
All I'm going to say, I'll just have a massive smile on my face, Grace.
You and me both, mashallah.
Mashallah, amazing, fantastic, really impressive, mashallah.
I'm so impressed, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. The last team is team 3, Halal Reads and Reels. This is with Aleph, Faiza, Amina, and Zaina. Team 3, are you there? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Walaikum salam.
My name is Amina Ahmed and I'll be representing Team 3 tonight. Elif is absent due to a work retreat and Faiza is also not here because she doesn't have access to power right now. So I have here with me Zanayat but I'll be doing the presentation. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now, but I'm really nervous. Okay, so sorry, it's wrong. So again, my name is Amina Ahmed and I'll be presenting for Team 3. And my team members are Faiza Salami, she's the Q&A engineer and she's also a front-end developer. Elif Bausi is a back-end developer and she was an amazing person and a big sister. So Zanayat Mohammed she's a product designer and a front-end developer, and then there's me, Aminat, I'm also a front-end developer. So our program statements, the global Muslim community is faced with the challenge of accessing and engaging with halal content in the digital age. Like there's a lot of bad content going around the internet right now, and it is getting a little bit hard to cope access to all of these things. So these challenges stem from the fragmented nature of available resources and the absence of a creative platform, the unmet cultural and spiritual needs of Muslims worldwide. So our solution to this problem is Halal Reels and Reads, a web app that allows Muslims to write reviews on halal books and movies. So you basically just come on the platform and then you write about a book that you read or a movie that you've seen. So you cannot just make a review about any book. There has to be like a review from the admin. So once the book meets or the movie meets our criteria, then we give you permission to push your review. If it doesn't, we ask you to rewrite it or take it down if it's as bad. So It's a user-friendly halal content review web application, providing a centralized hub for users to explore, review, and recommend Islamic books and movies with a focus on user-generated content the platform allows personalized profiles, reviews, and ratings, empowering users to make culturally aligned choices. So who are our target audience? Like basically everybody, men, women, a boy child, a male child, a female child, sorry, and the young and the old. The key considerations for our target audience are religious alignment, user-generated reviews, diversity and inclusion, and user-friendly experience. So I will be showing you a demo now. So this is the landing page. Once you enter the website and you log in. If you do not have an account, you can create a free account. And once you're in, this pops up. So this is an example movie. So if you want to check the review of this movie, you click on this and it takes you to the page that has the info about the movie. So here it says you can rate the movie here, and other user you can rate the movie here, and other user reviews can be seen under here. So if you want to add your own review, you click on here, and then it takes you to the edit page where you can type your review. So once you're done, you post your review and it pops up on your timeline, on your profile page, sorry. So it pops up here, your reviews and ratings. And then this is a section for the movies or the books that you've bookmarked. So you can also sort them by the movie or by the book. And yeah, that's all.
Mashallah, that's great.
Thank you. Sorry, the challenges that we faced. There were unexpected technical difficulties. Faiza's laptop crashed at some points, and Elif had work. I also had work, and I was trying to complete another project, and then the time constraints. So we plan on working on this app. We plan to continue working on it and make it better, and hopefully we'll be able to push it to the public and get positive feedback. Yes. Assalamu
Mashallah, excellent job. Very good presentation. Mashallah.
Thank you.
Any questions from the judges? No? That is all of our projects. Alhamdulillah, I feel so proud. Like I haven't done any coding, but I just Sharifan, yeah.
Sorry, I'm not a judge. Question. So with the halal reviews, have you considered having a feature where you can auto classify stuff even without them being reviewed? So for example, if a movie or a book has rainbow LGBT content, to auto classify it, so at a glance you know that these are things that you will probably not want to watch.
Okay.
Maybe like AI or something to read movies and then auto tag them or populate them, even though people have not reviewed it yet.
Currently we do not have plans for that, but I'll make sure to run it by the team, and then we'll add it to future builds.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
All right. Thank you very much.
Product to watch.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. So happy with everybody. Mashallah, I feel so proud of all the teams. I've just been sitting like grinning the whole time. Alhamdulillah. I don't know if we want to have any closing thoughts and comments from our mentoring team. Okay, that's fine. Alhamdulillah, just really, really proud of all of you. You've all put in an incredible amount of work, and just what you've been able to achieve this month. You should all be super, super proud. Alhamdulillah. It's really, really incredible. And just having that extra element of this being something where we're all Muslim women participating in this, we're all doing this fi sabilillah. It's incredible. And the barakah in the projects is really, really apparent with what you're able to put forth. SubhanAllah. So, oh, Marwa.
Yes, yeah, sorry. I just wanted to also say a few words. I still remember, obviously, almost 18 years ago when I graduated from university, and every step of my career, I've kind of had to work with men in solo as a software engineer throughout my tech career. And it's just so refreshing to sit in, virtually sit in a room with incredible women with so much talent all under the same roof. I'm just so proud of obviously the facilitators, Grace and Saudia. You've done an incredible job bringing everyone together, and the mentors, and of course all the ladies who've taken part in the hackathon. It's really something to celebrate, and hopefully, inshallah, it's one of many to come. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you all, I think, in a couple of days.
Yes, that's right. So our award ceremony is going to be on Friday. Marwa and the other judges are going to be very busily awarding the scores, and alhamdulillah. So we'll go through the awards, and there's going to be a cash prize for the winning team, inshallah, and that's going to be Friday. The recording of this is going to be shared. I've mentioned to the teams before, but we will put together a hackathon gallery where you can see videos and get in touch with the creators of the teams if you want to get in contact with them. You know, like Tazkir was saying, if you want to throw some VC money at them, mashallah, or Ikra AI was saying that, mashallah. But so we'll put together a gallery for that and share it, make sure that everybody has access to it. And alhamdulillah, thank you so much for everybody coming out tonight, all the participants, all the mentors, all the judges, everybody who just had a role in this hackathon, and just everybody in the audience. SubhanAllah, your support and just believing in Tech Sisters and what we're trying to do here. The energy in this call has been something else. MashaAllah, it's been really, really beautiful. And I'm just so happy that this is something that we did. Definitely we'll be doing more of these for sure, inshallah.
Inshallah. I'm actually I want to hear from Ibrahim, seeing that he's obviously been through a few of those hackathons. What are your thoughts were, Ibrahim?
Honestly, wallah, and I'm not just saying this. I'm actually blown away by the talent that you guys, basically the talent on display and what you guys have built within a month to deliver some of the things that you guys have built is honestly amazing. I've worked on a lot of projects. I've seen a lot of hackathon projects. I've also worked as part of a lot of tech teams at work as well. And what you guys have achieved, doing this part-time outside of work in the evenings, on the weekends, and that kind of stuff, it's honestly amazing to see. And you guys should be super proud of what you guys have achieved. MashaAllah. It's honestly amazing. And congrats to Tech Sisters and Grace for putting on a great show.
Jazakallah khair. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Yeah, I'm so impressed with the teams. SubhanAllah, like as they were building, I think we could feel when we had our mentor catch-ups that something special was happening, but we wanted to be surprised, so we weren't looking in too closely. And I am absolutely blown away. SubhanAllah. Sadia, do you want to say anything since you've had such a huge role in organizing this with me?
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate, mashallah, it's amazing to see what everyone's put together. We appreciate everyone being understanding of everyone's different time zones, coming together. Thank you, Rokiba, for helping us try to like put teams together as well. And we just appreciate everyone's patience, and we will do a survey shortly just to get feedback. This is our first time, and a lot of duas to you, Grace. I know this was a labor of love for you to get this off the ground and running, and inshallah we will have an even a more amazing hackathon next time around too.
Yes, it's not Tech Sisters and not product learning. I mean, I'm a product manager, so I have to do the product metrics and analysis at the end of this. This is my job. So, but yeah, alhamdulillah, so happy with everybody. Thank you all so much. Like I said, we're going to share the content, make sure we share the recordings with everybody and have a way for, you to contact the teams and get to know them, subhanAllah. And our next call is going to be Friday when we announce the winner, inshallah. And I think that,
Before you close this meeting,
okay, Dina.
and just something. Well, I really appreciate the effort you've done, all of you, mentors and teams, and you really impressed me. And I really loved all the application you've created. In the beginning, I was thinking that you're gonna just create digital application, but in the end, I found that you're creating something digital applications that help in our deen, and this is very nice. All of the applications have this side, so it's really impressive. The other thing that I want to say is for you, Grace, if we mentors, you mentors and we judges stay for 2 minutes or 3 minutes before this, after this meeting. Only judges and
yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, sure. I'll stay on as well. That's fine.
Okay, alhamdulillah. In that case, I think we can bring it up to a wrap. And yeah, so judges and mentor conference. And thank you, everybody. And assalamu alaikum, and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you. My baby.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you feeling, Grace?
Oh, subhanAllah, I'm in the clouds. I'm just so amazed with what they've done. SubhanAllah. Yeah, they've done so well, SubhanAllah.
Yeah, mashallah, it was really impressive. It's made our job a lot harder, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad I'm not a judge. For sure.